Okay, and so this is Brendan. Today I'm going to do another, what do you call the quick poses gesture drawing. And because I saw some things the other day, which I thought would help me to improve upon my last one. Not necessarily improve, but it's a different technique, which I thought is interesting. Let me go ahead and get started here, and then first I have to say there's going to be nudity in this, and so if you don't like nudity, or if you're in a location where you might have to ask for parents' permission, or however that works, then please be advised of that, and just remember I had nothing to do with it. This is not in my opinion. I don't care at all. I think this is all ages material, but some people are just weird. And wow, this looks like a young girl. Okay, so what was happening? I'm just going to dig into this. What was happening when I was watching watching some other people's gesture tips and advice and things like that was that, well, there's a lot of things that I'm doing that they would disagree with, and they are supposedly well, I shouldn't say supposedly, but they have more experience at it than I do. So, while I don't have any problems with what I did myself last time, I did want to try this technique, and I like some of what happened, and that's always a good thing. If somebody who's supposed to have experience at something gives you advice and they're actually right about it, so that's rare, by the way. That's not to be expected at all. Not my experience. So kind of what they were talking about, and I'm showing it right here. See how this line, I made kind of like one line there, and that is like the heart of the situation, the gesture. I kind of felt like after listening to a lot of tips, that was quintessential to the whole process. And by the way, I'm on like 3,000 by 4,000 here. I just have a small brush, and it's very simple. Another thing is like avoiding detail at all costs. When you're doing gesture drawing, it's not the point of it at all. You're trying to get the gesture, and I tend to agree with that because I like the results of what came out. And again, this is only because I agree, not because I follow orders from people. I listened to what they said, and I tried it, give them the benefit of the doubt, and then this is what happened. Now, some of the thing here, this is what I liked about what other people were saying who had experience. Notice how I can turn this all into one line. This area here, there's a groove. It's her shoulders. When I say groove, I mean like a flow. It's her shoulders going there, and this is her back, and her back can come right down into the leg, which comes right up into here. And I feel like for me, that was important, how I could get it all together. And the hands are tying here, so there's a linkage there, there's a linkage here, and then after you do that, you can add a little detail or something, or you can do whatever you want, because I'm doing what I do, you do what you do. You do you, I'll do me. And I have enough space here. I'm going to see how many I can squeeze into this little thing. Also, no need to waste paper, and well, of course in this case we're not wasting paper at all. So now I'm going to get the flow right here for starters. Come down like this, go up like that. And if you were to follow it around, his shoulder goes over here and then comes down like this. They don't like the scratchy lines. Some people, I disagree on that part of it. I'm going to keep doing the scratchy lines. I think other gesture drawing I see, they want you to do just one line. Don't do this like scratch, 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 scratch. And I know I'm not showing it well now, but if I start to pick up the pace here, I think you'll see there's some good things about the scratchy lines that I like sometimes. I like to be able to go back and forth like this and thicken up parts that are important to me. Although I can understand having just one line might be more clear in a lot of cases too. I just don't like that kind of that stress, that what do you call it, like it's like a dogma, just some rule bearing over me. I like to draw like this, so I draw like this, and that's what I do. Okay, might be better to start off with the body. So here, her body's definitely swinging out this way a bit, and it's all about the weight. Where does the weight fall? I guess this leg is holding her up, and this one is kind of dangling, right? So that's important to the gesture. The weight and the way that the body moves with weight is one of the most important things. It's one of the most amazing things and beautiful things that makes the human body what it is. The ability to stand on two legs and manage all of these different positions and things like this. It's what makes this interesting. So after getting that one line that comes down here and kind of shows how this is holding the weight up, that means this hip will come out, and you can see that it's kind of going like this. And I mean, this did not come out well, but if I had more seconds, I would probably do something like this. Well, I can't even see her now. Okay, anyway, these will get better as we go along. This guy, he shows up a lot in here, and something I like about him is that it's deceivingly simple. He always has these kind of poses, and I don't know if he made them up himself or if somebody's telling him to do this, but he has these deceivingly simple poses, which it seems like it'd be easy to draw if you're just using lines, but actually when I'm done drawing it, it's like, wait, what position is that? I can't recognize it. Like if I would look over at this one over here, I can make it out. Okay, that one's a little weird. This one's obvious. That's human, at least. This is human. But he does these weird things, just like I can barely recognize if it's human or not. Although it looks easier to draw, but how can we bring out that humanness? Well, there's a curve here in the leg that's important to get the muscle tone. This one's usually higher. You have a higher curve up here, and when it swoops down like that, and down here, the way it curves like this. So you have this kind of flow going on like that. And if I had more time, I'd work on that. Do I have more room over here? Squeeze in as many as I can. This girl over here. It's nice to get the original form of the face. When I say form, I mean the what did you call it? The tilt angle. Now she has something going on where it seems like her whole body is kind of like coming down this way, and then it just pops, right, and goes over this way. So you got this dynamics going on. That's over there. This pops and kind of comes over there, and then shoulders are going down like this, and we go pop, pop. So you see there with just a few lines, we got that one. There's your gesture right there. That's kind of what we're looking for. I like how this one came out. Now after you have that, I guess you can fill it in a little, do things like this. Again, a tiny bit of muscle tone here. Shoes aren't really important, but her feet are. This coming down here. You know, with that extra time we have, we can just utilize it, fill in some form and stuff like that. That's pretty much it. See, and I like that, and that's not, you know, the pros at this. They'd probably have something to say about that, but I just happen to like that myself. I'm going to stick with it because I'm not in somebody's class. I don't need their approval for an A, and so I'm going to do what I want to do. And they can say make their vicious comments as they will. You know, they'll say, oh, you're going to be a failure and all this stuff, and if you don't do it this way, you're not doing it right, and you'll never be an artist. I've heard these things, actually. I've seriously actually had people say things like this to me. And you know, not so much to your face, but they'll say it, you know, through the internet or whatever, and so you know that's what they're thinking. Of course, if they said it to your face, then they know better than to do that, don't they? It's funny how they won't say it to your face, but when there's you know, some audience listening, they can say whatever they want. They'll do that. Or if it's an email, or when they're anonymous, you know, that's their favorite time to get away with that stuff. And one of these, starting to recognize this girl too. See, her head's pretty much straight up and down. Just want to get that. I like this one. I didn't like that last one. I felt like it was too concealed, kind of weird. Her arm comes right out like this. Now for the body on this one, is something really interesting, because I guess you could say her chest is facing out this way, but hips are kind of trying to swerve the other way. So we got kind of feel like we got one of these going on, and then it pops out here. So one good thing about drawing females is that their hips are very suggestive as to where their weight is going. See, with this one, it's not coming out as well, and I feel as though the reason is because I didn't really do a good job with that beginning line. I got a little confused, and then once that happens, that bad foundation just ends up with a totally bad gesture drawing. And that's another point to be made as to why gesture drawing is a great thing to do, because you need to get those gestures. I kind of feel like there's a split here. It's kind of interesting. Like her body comes down and then there's some kind of split here. So there's like two lines of action. I want this one to come around and about. It's almost like doing stick figures. But her hips are here, and that's where that curve is. Okay. Of course, she has clothes on. I'm actually starting to really appreciate the nudes for this reason, but it's not that they have to be completely nude, but putting on so much clothes like this really just kills the point for me. Next time I might just go with the all nudes. This is there's just no point for this. This is like speed drawing somebody with clothes on. And another thing that's great about these gesture drawings, as I'm drawing them now, you don't really get, because it's so fast, you don't have time to sit back and appreciate it. And so as I'm drawing these, I am not at all happy with how these are coming out. As a matter of fact, it's like it's killing my ego. But then when you stop and you look back on it, because when you compare this to the photo as it's being done, it's like that's not good at all. But then when I stop, take a break, get a cup of coffee or whatever it is that you do, and you look back on it, it's like, wow, that's actually pretty cool looking. I like how her back comes. I always love in a female form how the back comes in, and then the hips come out like that. It has it's just very expressive. This arc here that you usually get, I made her pregnant, but oh well, maybe that's a premonition. I'm psychic. She's about to get pregnant. I could have drawn the hair in there. Here's an interesting one. Again, we have the face like this. I can feel the neck strong like that, and shoulders coming out here. It's almost like the spine will come straight back and then out a little bit, and then this leg comes in like that. If I were to not look at this picture, not know what's going on, then I might assume this is kind of a Spider-Man pose. She almost has that kind of look going on about her. Now notice how the hand is flying up in the air, whereas she has it over here resting on her leg. The reason for that, if you can guess it already, is that, see, I like how this one turned out, is that she would have fat on her legs and stuff like that. Her hand, these lines that I'm making are meant, intended to be based on the physicality of her body, including like joints and like things like that, and with some expression. But between that expression and the bones and the lines and stuff, there would also be muscle and bones and stuff like that. See, our neck comes down like that. I can really feel this part here, and then this part comes down here. And then we have, again, this, what do you call it, like the switch, the flop, where her knee comes out here. So the joint would be there. Yeah. Kind of like how that works. You just get better the more you do them. I guess some people will get tired with these. I could do this like all day long. I'm really enjoying this. And it's so awesome that we have a resource like this on the internet where you can just turn this on. If this were to be years ago, people would be lucky if they could get an hour of class doing this. I could sit here and do this for hours and hours all day long, and get to know all these. I just drew like 4 lines to remind me on this canvas. You see they have it like here to remind me that's like a good amount of space, so I can keep drawing this. Because I didn't want to delete them like last time. I just deleted everything I drew, and She's definitely got an arc kind of stemming from that way, and then it balances out in the bottom. If I were to do hips here, it'd be something like that. And don't need rib cage really, but you want to get the feeling. It's not about doing anatomy. It's about getting the flow and the feeling of the pose and the weight. I feel like weight is like the most important thing with this. It's all about the weight. I want to show her knee stops there, but I don't want it to look like, I want that to show in the expression. So I have the foot coming up here. Maybe I just do one of these with this so you can kind of see the knees are there. I'm not dissatisfied with that one. It's not great either. Yeah, so I just put that, that amount of space there to represent. Here we go with this deceivingly simple dude again. Gets me every time. He always has kind of a triangle kind of look to him. So I can to be able to save all of these in one. There's a tiny bit of foreshortening here. His feet gets bigger as he comes out, which I feel like is relevant to this. And see how the weight happens on his his buttocks, whatever you want to call it. His butt is kind of like resting off there, so I kind of want to show that. And then this arm just comes down. You can tell these arms are somewhat supporting him. He's like holding himself on the chair. Head is facing over that way. I kind of want to express that. And his neck is very, like that. Nice foot, eh? So I have enough space here to put, like, I don't know how many. I'll squeeze in as many as I can. Like, if I can fit 50, I'll do 50. It's 60 seconds per, so you can count however many you had. That's how many minutes you did. This is very stout, very just like standing. This one has so much muscle to it. I mean, a gesture is a gesture. Everything has gestures. You could even just be standing there holding a pot in your hand, and there's a gesture to it. See what I did not capture here is like he has kind of one of these things going on, where this shoulder should be up higher. He's ready to like swing that thing. So what we should really have is maybe something kind of swinging this way. Yeah. And because of that, if he wasn't wearing the clothes, I might also see that these hips kind of displaced. And then after you get so many done, to be able to go back and look at all these, it's really good when, as long as you're not doing them, when you're actually working on it, it doesn't feel so good at all. I mean, it does. It doesn't feel bad, but it feels a lot better when it's all done. You look at it. I just make these suggestions of like spine, hips, helps me to get it out. But you don't want to lose the overall flow. The problem with this is like this guy, I don't know, do you see flow? I see a little flow here and then it just kind of stops and it splits up, and he just has a mechanical male look to him. And maybe, that's the right thing to do, is to just express it that way, as mechanical. I feel like that's it. I'm done. I just, that could have been a 30-second one. Should I bother adding detail here at this point? I don't know. Do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Actually, it gets harder to recognize when I add that. I could have even made these smaller. I started getting a little bigger. She definitely has some flow going down this way, and then as usual that hip comes out. Now if you look at the thing for a whole for the legs, it comes down here, goes down. This is very important because that one, where's the weight? The weight is actually on this leg, and that's kind of what we're getting at here, is to try to get that weight there. And so since that's the case, it's legal, it makes sense for this to be kind of like that. If we can get that, Actually, her feet should be about the same place. This one would come down further, I guess. Maybe something like that. Not worried on the details. So you can see how she's holding herself up, just barely leaning on something, but it looks like she could even remove her hand from whatever she's leaning on there. She's not leaning on it very heavily, and she'd still be able to hold herself up. But she's relying on that wall there just a little bit. And you should be able to feel that. Those are the types of things you really want to get out in the gesture drawing. Extremely useful for drawing people in action and poses and things like this. I just messed this one up already. I can see it. Why was I drawing his back? I should have started off with the center flow line there. Yeah. And you can see this, how his foot's holding him up. And this one. And people just know these things. It's natural. You can tell if a gesture looks natural or not. Some people might have a more keen eye. But let's say, for example, if you've ever seen like an android or a robot, whether it be in an animation or TV or whatever, and you can just tell it's not as natural. And that's that's why sometimes cartoons, well, obviously cartoons don't look real, but it's not even a matter of looking real, but looking natural. See, there's all these poses, and so now when I look back on it, I feel really happy. It's like, wow, that's cool. I fill out the page. Squeeze some more in here. This one has some very obvious lines, but always remember that keyword, that key phrase I was saying earlier is deceivingly simple. When something looks simple and obvious and easy, those can be the hardest ones sometimes. Could be because you take it for granted, or maybe it actually is just too simple that it's harder to grasp something that's too simple sometimes, because we don't usually look at things that are so simple with as much interest. Now, something that's interesting about the weight of her breast, it shows me that there's a forward leaning, almost leaning forward motion going on here, and that is important. Her hips, like this, yeah. Squeeze another one in here, I think. Oh boy, that was a surprise. We're getting all upside down and stuff. Okay. See how there's a little bit of a curve? I can suggest that little bit of a curve. And this is another reason why I like this scribble technique. I just scribble like that. I don't care. I don't care what they say. And then definitely comes from here to there, and I get the flow. I feel like I'm doing like connects or something. Like, which may or may not be correct, but that's what I'm doing. Next time maybe I'll do what the doctor says, and this time I'm gonna just do what I do. I made her head way too big, did I? Oh, I hope I have enough time for this leg. I do want to get that in there. So this one should come out there. And again, with this arc, I'm going to exaggerate it. I do notice little things sometimes, like see, this toe is about just a little bit higher than that toe. All these little things that help you to judge, like, how far is this from here to there. I don't say that so much, but I do it all the time. I've been drawing since like a long time. Alright, we're getting on to the last row here, I think. You can do real quick stuff like shoulders, hips, line. She's wearing so much clothes, I don't know if I'll be able to do any better than that. I could suggest her finger just like that. And then, again, just judging. If her hips are here, her shoulder starts about there, then you can see how it comes down to that leg. So this leg will come out and come in, do that. And this is very, some of the gesture drawings, like I was saying in the last video, some people are like real swervy. And I actually listened to myself say that afterwards. It's kind of funny, like, what is swerve? And swerve is a word probably best used for like a car or something. I just mean like curvy. You have all these swervy lines like this and that. And you see a lot of gesture drawings by people who are supposed to be pros or something, and they do a lot of more of this kind of thing, with the curves and this and that. And I just think sometimes it's appropriate and sometimes it's not. You know, if you look at that one that was just there, I didn't feel any curves, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just so tired of people saying it's supposed to be like this, supposed to be like that, and it's not. You just do whatever you want. In this case, I am interested in that breast not as a perv, but as a point of reference, because this is really weird. How her body is shaped like this, or let's say it's not something I'm used to drawing. This position over here, it feels important to me how her heel comes down like that, and then this goes like that, and then by having that together, this just falls into place. You know, you have two joints where those bones come out, and the reason this bothers me is because, like, I just don't know how can I draw that in this form. I could draw that, like, you know, if I was drawing a drawing, but for gesture drawing, that's kind of hard to, like, get out. I guess something like that might work. I drew this one before. See how there's a flow here? I'm going to go back to that original thing that I was saying where, like, you can follow that flow. It goes from here to there to here to there to here and then back up. And where does this hand disappear to? I just don't want to know. I guess just forget it. And this, same thing. It's going to go back here, and then up here and back down. That kind of flow. His foot comes out here. And even with that, you can just kind of get the sense of the drawing. His head should be more down in here. That should be up there. Because I don't want to erase, that's the other thing. Like, it's another reason why I do these squiggly lines. If you think it's cheating to erase, then, which is true in some ways, you know, you just want to be able to get those lines out quickly. If you keep erasing, doing it over and over again, well, I guess with time either way, you're going to get the same result. You can take your skateboard to, you know, if you got to get from, I don't know, from San Francisco to Miami, you can take a car, you can take a train, you can ride your skateboard. Either way, you're going to eventually get there, right? There's different ways, different means to achieve different ends, but some of them are faster. And so we have this culture where everybody's like, you know, you got to do the fastest way, you got to be this and that. Well then, you know, if that's how you are, stay away from me, please. So I'll do it my way. I don't have to rush. And how many more are we going to get in here? Wow, this might actually go on for a while. The last session I did was just 15 minutes. I did 15 drawings, so it was actually okay. I could do this all day though. Now here's another weird one, because you can't really see so much of her back. There's foreshortenings coming at you. What you do see is obviously her butt coming right out in your face there. If you want to be more scientific, I guess I'll call it the buttocks, and this here, the foot comes down. And I definitely might have exaggerated, or did I? I don't know. Yeah, as this gets closer to you, it should be getting bigger. I don't know if I'm exaggerating the foreshortening or not, you tell me. But this one here, the knee comes out just about where the other knee is, and then does one of these things. And I'd love to draw that part of the foot right there, the heel. I don't know why, it just speaks to me. It's the part that makes it look like a foot. Oh wait, that's not even there. Something like that. You can kind of tell there's a human in there. Next one. You know, it really throws me off when you get all of a sudden they're like in the air, upside down, or like this one in the bed and stuff. So now I got to think in a new way. This comes here, goes there, goes down this way. That's what we're trying to do. And when it's done, when this is all said and done, it should look like what it is, which is a person laying down in a bed. I might just keep doing these every day and then get really, really good at it. Go tell all the people who disagree with my method that this is how I learned it and it's the only way to learn, and tell them that they suck. Nah. That's called holding a grudge, getting revenge. That's not good. That looks like a person laying down, yeah. A little more space over here. Finish up soon. I'll just fill up this bottom space and call it a day, or call it an hour, whatever it is. I will still be drawing after this. Never ends. Draw every day, every hour, every day of the hour, every hour of the day. Gotta keep drawing. This arm goes onto that knee, which in this case is too far away, so I made it there. And this one, well, you know, what is it that she's doing? Basically, it looks like she's hiding her breasts, and that is what she's doing. If she were to be doing anything, it's sitting, and if there were to be a secondary activity associated with this posture, I would say that she's hiding her breasts, and she's doing a very good job at it. I cannot see her breasts. And this shoulder comes out, she's almost hiding, showing that shyness. She's also hiding her a little bit of her face, which shows the shyness. Like an ostrich, you know, people have this natural tendency to want to hide themselves, hide their own faces, and ostriches don't even do that. I think that's a what either you'd call an urban myth or you'd call like just, well, it's not true. Just one of those things. She is like, this is one of those things where I think these pictures, I mean, it's really good to have this resource, but I do think they're a little risque. I don't know if you can say risky and risque, they have the same meaning. A little provocative. This girl wearing a Santa costume. You know, when I say she's sitting in doggy style, it's only because I'm drawing her and it actually, you know, looks like it's a dog. And I think we all know what that means. If you don't, that's fine. Don't ask your parents. See this here. That goes there. Again, this dude just, he seems to come out so naturally for me. I'll say it again. It is deceivingly simple. This one, does it really come out like that, or is it more, it's actually just kind of straight? I feel like it's kind of straight, and this hand is almost like supporting that back side there. And again, this guy, he really stands the test of time at being deceivingly simple. Every time I think it's going to be easy, and he just totally throws me off. He must be one of those artistic geniuses or something. Oh well, what can you say? That's all I have to say about that one. Squeeze in maybe two more. She goes like this. She has almost like flying kind of, I think she's actually, well, yeah, she's in motion. And so you feel like the weight, this is a really important one, you feel like the weight is not holding her body down, which gives this a genuine kind of straight line, just maybe naturally arced. And obviously I can't even see her legs, so I'm just going to go like this. But I love how with just the gesture here I can really, I'll bring that there. Yeah. I had to put a little bit of the body because I wanted to show how the hand is coming out from behind there. You really feel like she's like jumping or something. Maybe I will just go ahead and draw the dress in here. Stereotypical, very stereotypical, like bending of the dress on the bottom there, just like this. Okay. And maybe last one, yeah. I'll just call it quits, although we're having so much fun. And I cannot even see what in the name of what's going on here. It's like black. Where are her arms? Her arms are hiding. This must be the part of the challenge series here, where they you have to draw somebody who's like hiding themselves, or like draw a picture of somebody who's invisible, or wearing camouflage in the desert. That's it's a real challenge. Why, I don't know. So she definitely has a swerve coming here, pop over here, pop out, right? This one, it's almost like this line depends on that line to get another pop, and pops out like that. And this thing just goes like that. And her hips come out like that. Yeah. That was actually kind of fun. I like the shape and the way the weight. It's all about the weights. Okay, so let me just stop this one. Ran out of space. Okay, have a quick review. Wow, lots of them. This is going to be fun to look at. Now this one here looks like a pretzel. I think the only reason I'd know what that is, and I'm not going to draw, I'm not going to tamper with it. The only reason I'd know what that is because I just drew it so many minutes ago. And I mean, you can definitely tell these are all human. I think I was totally right about this. Adding that muscle just like that just brought out the whole human thing, and that's something to remember next time. If it's easy pose, or I think it's easy, maybe I'm missing something, but if that's as easy as I thought it was, then I have time to add in a little bit of muscle tone. This one is great. I really like how the action is coming out there. This looks like what you'd call a traditional gesture. That's probably how they should look. So far, I'd say that's the best one. Again, a lot of these, the only reason I can recognize them is because I was just drawing them. I'm not that good at this, but I'm still going to just keep doing it how I do it, and I do feel like I'm getting better at it. This one I remember the gun. I like that position. I could have brought out the feet more. Here there's too much of that stuff in there, but I'm still going to keep scribbling like that. I don't care, because otherwise I just end up with a faulty line anyway, and then I'd be even more upset. Or maybe I'll try just one line at a time next time. We'll see what happens. I just hate to agree with people sometimes. I like this one, except there's too much mess there. If I was allowed to use an eraser, I would. And that's the other great thing. Like in a case like this, you only have 60 seconds. You can't use an eraser. But take all that knowledge that you learned from this. When you can use an eraser, and when you're making a finished piece of art, then you're going to come up with some really awesome stuff because you have plenty of time to erase. Once you have the ability to make these quick gestures, the rest is just filling in anatomy and lighting and shading and stuff like that. A lot of these are great. I like this one where she's hanging up in the air. And you see how like I brought out more. That's another reason I like the squiggles. Or if you have like a brush sensitivity, you can go in darker, because I just want some areas to show up darker. That's a reminder to me that I like that, or that was significant, or just whatever. This is me speaking in my language about what I see. This is not a matter of impressing some professor with all perfect lines or something, because that's you'll never learn. You just never learn. You have to do what you do. If you're constantly trying to please someone else, then you'll never improve yourself. So you got to do things, and even though they're right, a lot of the times, like doctors, lawyers, professors, or more experienced people, they know better, but they don't know, and this is what I often find, they don't know how to tell you how to get to that place. They just say, get there. It's like if I just looked at you, you don't even know what the city, of Los Angeles is, and I say, go to Los Angeles, and you're like, what? And how do you, if you're like a 5-year-old, I just say, go to Los Angeles. They're like, what? They don't know anything about that. They don't know how to get a train ticket. They don't know anything. So, you just got to learn one step at a time how to be able to do things in your own way. Yeah, I like a lot of these. That's it for today. done looking at these. I might put this up. If anybody wants, just comment or send me a a message or something. I can give this to you. I might put it up on my website. And yeah, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed. We'll do some more later.